Early to bed, early to rise, work hard, and advertise. Let's talk about property marketing and what's too much. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Well. Sorry, guys, we're a little bit late. I think the Telstra network's down, possibly. We've been having issues.
It's
We've
true.
been having issues. Yeah.
It's true.
It
Like
always
you've
seems
got
to
James.
happen. It always seems. What's that?
How's James Bond behind you with a gun?
It always seems to all these issues all seem to happen at around 7:40 every morning. They don't seem to happen at any other time during the day, just at 7:40 when we're trying to get all of this live. You know what? We got asked during the week if we could do a segment on how we do the lives. So I think that's a really, really good thing to do because, guys, there is a hell of a lot involved in getting these segments out to everyone every morning. Honestly, huge amount. Something tells me we're going to have technical issues. Something tells me we're going to have technical issues with you, Mark. You're in slow-mo.
Nah. 946 episodes. You've got to have shit go wrong after 1,000 episodes. Like, seriously.
Oh, my God. That is the truth. But we will do it behind the scenes, like how we come up with the content, what's involved. People are saying, how do you get the subtitle, the little ticker tape thing going around the bottom there. As I said, there's been a lot of trial and error, guys. We've just taught ourselves over the years what works, what doesn't work, and it's still a bit of a work in progress.
I've had to send myself to anger management classes because of people don't turn up on time for doing lives.
Well, it's an enormous commitment. It really is. 7:45 every day, Monday night Novak news, coming up with all the topics. There's a lot of conversation between you and me on a Friday as well, Mark. What are we going to talk about this morning? Anyway, this morning we're going to talk about, are you overpaying for your marketing? Is it necessary to spend $20,000 on marketing to make sure that you're testing the market, to make sure that you're getting the most amount of money out of the market for your property? Or is it really just a sales tactic for a real estate agent? So we're going to address this morning. What do you reckon, Mark? Is it necessary to spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 on your marketing for your property?
Look, when's it too much? Like, you can put a hot air balloon up with the property details on the side of a hot air balloon and send it to BD, but it's good marketing. It's good marketing, but you're probably spending too much.
Yeah. So where this came, that's funny. Where this came about was last night I signed up a listing and the vendor, awesome people, but the vendor had said to me, actually your marketing was the cheapest out of everyone. The other agents were saying that we need to be on realestate.com, we need to be on Domain, we need the property styled, we need and the list went on, and it kind of amounted to about somewhere around $10,000. And the marketing that I had put forward to these guys came in at about $3,000. So he was like, wow, where's the difference? Is it going to affect our end result? And I said, look, the reality of it is in your core area, I am listing and selling the most amount of property, fact. I'm getting great property prices, fact, because you guys, the vendors, choose me to sell your property. I think you need to be asking those agents, is that marketing more about their own profile or is it more about your property? And it's a real conversation. I'm not saying anyone's right and I'm not saying anyone's wrong. I'm saying, is it needed?
Well,
is it needed to get the price? That's the question.
An example of that is realestate.com and domain.com.au in our area. If you look at the overlay of concentration or hotspots or heavy traffic, they never overlap each other, those two websites. So domain.com.au will dominate in an area where REA does not dominate, or vice versa. You'll find REA is dominating and domain doesn't do much at all in the area. But then you've got the school of thought of let's do both of those websites. You can pretty much double up your $2 or $3 grand from $3 to $6 grand. And clients are constantly asking us, do we really need to go on both? Because is that doubling up? And it's just a classic example of you need your agent's guidance there to say, okay, this does work, this doesn't work. What's overkill? What's right? What would you do with your own property? And I think you would find often agents would do a different approach with their own property to what they would do with your property. That's when you know there's something going wrong.
So, and not only that, guys, I mean, understand that as agents, anyone can get vendor paid advertising. It's not hard. You go to your vendor and you say, this is what we need to get your property sold. And what's involved in getting that property onto a real estate portal is this. Click. That's what's involved. It's not like, oh, we've got, days of work to do and there's a huge amount of stuff that goes on in the background. Getting a property onto realestate.com and getting a property onto Domain is collecting your credit card details and clicking a button. So I'm often saying to my vendors, because the big portal on the Northern Beaches is realestate.com. Fact, it trumps Domain 2-1. We just had realestate.com in the other day actually going through some numbers with us. But that's a fact. So and that's not the case in every area. Domain trumps realestate.com in some areas. But I'm often saying to my vendors, let's start with realestate.com, which in our area is circa $2,700 for a premier listing, the big listing. And if I'm not liking the numbers that I'm seeing, I track them really closely. We're also obviously looking at open home numbers. If I don't like what I'm seeing, I'll come to you and I'll say, let's throw that net even wider. Let's get you onto Domain. And I'm going to do this. Click. I'm going to click a button and get you on. So this big, oh my God, we've got to take all this money. We've got to do this. We've got to get, boards and of course, signboards, of course, real estate portals, of course, social media. But is it all necessary? And some of the bills, Mark, that I hear that these vendors are paying, because I do a huge amount of cleanups, which I want to talk about in a sec. And often I'll say to the vendor, so how much have you actually paid out for marketing? And the numbers vary so dramatically, I struggle to not have my jaw drop to the floor.
And I remember Lee Woodward said it really well, and I can't remember the exact words, but there is such a thing as a seller, a selling agent, a marketer, a promoter, someone who's really pushing it. And there is such a thing as an agent that just whacks ads in. They don't push it. They don't hustle. They don't get behind it. And that's what you're paying these guys for. And I can't remember the sentence that he reduced it to, but it was a beautiful sentence. And it went something like, are they placing ads or are they selling? And I think you said on one the other day on commercial, you said, are they just simply listing properties or are they selling properties?
Well, there's a really big difference, and our industry is so transparent. It's all there. A lot of these agents going, I'm the number one agent in the area, and the next agent's going, I'm the number one agent in the area, and then the next agent comes in and goes, I'm the number one agent in the area. So the vendor actually said to me yesterday.
Yeah, I was about to say they're number one in collecting reviews in some circumstances.
Yeah. What are you number one for? Are you number one for an award that you won because you wrote a really, really good submission, or are you number one because you collected the most amount of reviews, or are you number one because you actually are selling the most amount of property in the area? So what are they? And does it actually really matter anyway? Do vendors really care if you're number one, number two, number three, number four? Where's the value add for that client? always be really careful of making sure that you are actually telling people why that matters to them, that you're number one.
Look,
If it's relevant.
when you're out, when you see a coffee shop and it says, voted number one coffee shop in New South Wales, it's always going to get your attention. Irrelevant to who gave that award, you're still going to go, ooh.
Yeah, that's right. Was the award out of a cereal box? Was it out of a cereal box in Mudgee, or where did the number one come from? But does it even really matter? I think that's a really great topic actually for another day, Mark. But with marketing, the other thing I want to talk to you guys about is, what is your agent doing over and above clicking that button, click on realestate.com and domain and going, give me a credit card, I'm just going to click the button. How amazing am I? What are they doing over and above that? This is the trick, and this is the key. And we often talk about it, Mark, because obviously we do an enormous amount on social media. And again, we're not just whacking a photo up onto Instagram of your property and saying, for sale, DY, call me for more information. We're actually interacting with a really, really good tribe that we've built up over many years. A lot of interactive, just raw video content that we are selling.
Again, if you're a consumer, say you're a seller and you need an agent's services, an agent says, yeah, I'm going to have you on Facebook and I'm going to put $1,000, give me $1,000 and I'll put it on Facebook. If someone gave Lisa Novak $1,000 to go on Facebook, it's a different result to giving John Hunt, new agent, no network, $1,000. And, it's very hard for people to quantify that. So I guess, people's defense, when they're sitting on the lounge room chair and they're selecting their agents, it's really hard. Perceived value is different to real value when they're selecting marketing dollars or agents. Like, how do you know that you're going to get for your bang for your buck? So same thing with realestate.com. When you put on that $2,500, $3,000 ad, the way that a great agent will put that ad online and the way that a not great agent will put that online, again, is going to determine two different results. Same website, but do you know what I mean? It's all about marketing, and how do you pick that?
And the thing, look, we've all got those resources, guys. Understand that we've all got access as agents to realestate.com. We've all got access to domain. Anyone can get vendor paid advertising. So, often when I'm sitting in front of my vendors, I'm saying, look, right now, and it changes. Believe me, the way I market properties changes depending on what the market's doing. Right now, there is not. Most agents don't do that. So Mark, these vendors said to me yesterday, their campaigns were the same, yours was different. And I said, but that's a great thing. This is what you want. You want an agent that's going to do things differently for you to get a great result. If we're all doing the same thing, it's the definition of insanity, isn't it? So
I can even nail an agent in our area where every single property looks the same. They look great. The photos look great, and the properties look great, and they're all the same. So it's almost like, I feel like they've grabbed. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's like they all look blah. Nothing stands out. And I think you got a problem there when your approach to selling the properties is the same as the other 100 properties that you've sold. Like, that's not selling. That's just like cookie cutter. And buyers are going to pick that. It all looks the same.
Yeah. So, you need, guys, if you're watching this and you're thinking of selling your property, you need to be asking your agent, what are you doing over and above that? Because if I'm sitting in a presentation and I'm saying to you, look, I tell you what, obviously we're going to do a huge amount of social media. It's a lot of raw video content. It's very interactive, and we get a really, really good following there. Realestate.com at the moment for me is actually a very important portal. It's something I don't use all the time. It depends whether it's a buyer's market or seller's market. I have sold many a property right off the back of my social media. There's no secret there. I started doing this 5 years ago. And many a time we've done the case studies. I remember I had a house in Freshwater. I put it onto my Instagram and I got a phenomenal offer within 24 hours on this particular house. The vendors were old school. They said it came through quickly. I'm sure you remember this house, Mark. The offer came through very quickly. What if we went to market? We don't, maybe we're going to get more. Now, they needed to go on that journey, to make sure that they'd actually fulfilled the market. And so off we went, realestate.com. We lost the buyer, unfortunately, at this phenomenal level, and we never saw that money ever again. $500,000 was left on the table there. So, a great agent will guide you through the right way. But what we need to understand is, are you overpaying for the marketing because of the profile for that agent, or is it actually so that we can get a much better result for your property?
Absolutely.
Guys, really think about that, because there's a lot of agents out there that are not on social media and they rely quite heavily on vendor paid advertising for their own profile. That is my version of this. So you've got to ask yourself, is this more about me or more about you? As I said, all I've got to do to get your property onto a real estate portal is go click. It's not like there's no massive big ticker tape parade, and there's no, it's not, you're not being a genius to click a button to get someone's property onto a real estate portal. Why would I not want to do that to get you more money? But I'm shaping my campaign based on your needs. Not every vendor wants to go to realestate.com and domain, Mark.
No, that's right.
Some vendors are saying
it is Friday Frenzy.
Yes.
As well. Any other thing you want to add to this topic?
Oh, this is such a good topic. What, on a different topic or on this one?
Different topic. We've done 15 minutes we've done 15 minutes. Have you overpaid? I know you like this topic. I know you're passionate about it.
It's too quick. I really do love this topic.
You need to.
I just want to finish off on that, Mark, because I've had a lot of calls this week from distressed vendors that have been on the market for too long with other agents. I did a social media post on it at the beginning of the week. Has your agent gone stale? The biggest thing I hear, the biggest bugbear I hear from these vendors that have been on the market for too long with other agents is how much money they spent on marketing. They're burnt and they don't want to re-spend that marketing again. Guys, we do an enormous amount of cleanups after other agents. We will not take marketing money from you.
I would say we specialise.
Hey?
I would say we specialise in it.
Yeah, we really do. Yeah, I feel like we've cracked the Da Vinci Code with it.
Yeah, the amount of people that come to us unsold, been on the market, and then we go bang. It's like, oh, thank you. And then we refer other people.
How many times? What else are we going to talk about, Mark?
My tie.
Yes.
What do you reckon?
Beautiful.
It's a
Lovely.
new one.
Oh, it's a new one.
Yeah.
Nice. Mark has hundreds of ties. He's a bit of a tie hoarder.
I've got to get rid of some other ones. Old ones. So this week in news, weather crazy, windy.
Wow. What about, we had a twister off DY, guys.
We had a twister.
How bizarre is that?
A real twister. It was the strangest thing.
A real twister. I put it onto my socials, actually. Yeah, no, the weather's been nuts. I want to just talk quickly about some stock, because we've got actually quite a few listings coming on.
Oh yeah. One other thing. I met with a really intelligent person last night, and 27, 28 years old, good buddy of mine. He supports agents. He's one of the best in his field. Won't say what he does. Oh, actually, he's in production, so video and photo production. He's probably the best in the country, pumping a lot overseas as well. I was just really surprised. So I'm saying so we talk about, every time we talk, sort of talk about business, talk about life, just talk about everything all the time. And I'm always up in for buying something. I just want to encourage people out there at the moment that are thinking about it. for a first home buyer to get into the market, it's not a big thing. For as little as $25,000, these guys can buy something for 500 or 600 grand. And he genuinely thought there was nothing for 500 or 600 grand. He genuinely thought, he couldn't do anything with 25 grand. He didn't know there was no stamp duty. Guys and girls, we are doing a first home buyer night in the next 20 days. Sign up for it. Come along. It is, if you want to help family, want to help friends, want to help yourself, it's not hard to buy a property these days, even with these interest rates where they are. That's all I want to say.
It's a free event. Actually, we might just pop something in here, Mark, a link in here, because it's a free event, guys, at Novak, and they're always super popular, these events, actually. But come along. It's not just for first-home buyers. You guys will get some little nuggets. Mark's talking. I just found out I'm going to be speaking. And we've also got Billy, who is one of our young sales guys. He has been a first-home buyer, so he's going to talk about his experience. But, it's going to be a great one. I just saw Lep on there. What did Lep have to say?
She said that.
How long does a listing campaign on a property should be advertised, and what process would you take an auction to get the best result? That's a really, I want to do a segment. Hope you're well, Leps. I want to do a segment on auctions versus private treaty. It's a big thing at the moment. But usually, look, a campaign, it's just how long's a piece of string at the moment. Days on market in our area, how many days a property sitting on the market is sitting somewhere between 25 to 31 days. It's really changing though. There's a lot of buyers out in the market at the moment, but ordinarily an auction campaign runs for 3 or 4 weeks. I actually sent Vic LaRusso, Mark, our auctioneer, a text last night just saying what's going on with the auction market, because it's ever changing. You only need to look at auction clearance rates to see
what he say.
He said same, but properties that are priced well are still doing relatively well. So it's all about just vendors understanding where the market is at the moment, and a great agent guiding you through the best way forward. Because if you don't have any people coming along to auction, not a great way to do it. Get a good guide on your property, get the crowds through and negotiate hard and fast with really good buyers. But again, it depends on the property, depends on the area, it depends when you're coming to market. A great agent will guide you through the best way forward.
I reckon if you're dealing with an agent and they use the word depends, that really shits me. When you ring someone, when you ring someone and say, "Hey mate, how much is the television?" He goes, "Well, it depends." Or you're at a car dealership and you look at the car and you go, "How much is this car?" And they go, "It depends." And you're like, "Oh, far out."
Just give me the answer.
Just give me the answer. Then give me the depends after, but not straight away.
Mark, I want to just finish up quickly talking about an event that we went to at the beginning of the week on Tuesday. It was the CEO of Tesla. I'm sorry if I get the titles wrong.
That was incredible.
CEO of Tesla. The guy that invented Wi-Fi. Like, why is that man not an absolute superhero? And then there was one of the head heart surgeons from St. Vincent's Hospital who was
guy to install a robotic heart.
A robotic heart, yeah. So it was a evening on innovation.
Yeah. How many people there? 50?
Oh, there would have been about 100 people in the room. I felt so dumb. These people are so smart.
I didn't want to tell anyone I went to Cromer High School.
I didn't want to ask a question.
Yeah. Degree? No.
Oh, no.
School? Cromer.
But but if you say it fast enough, it sounds like grammar, Mark.
Yeah,
grammar.
That's true.
Grammar.
Went to grammar.
But, the one thing, guys, that these people had in common was they just don't take no for an answer. If they say we want to throw a satellite up into the universe and I don't know, build a whole new world up there, and someone goes, no, that's just no, it's impossible. They go, okay, great, thanks, and off they go and find a way to make it work.
That
The word
was the
impossible.
one thing that yeah, in their culture, it was about the inches towards the dream, and that's what they do every day. These scientists, they are incredible people, and these guys weren't scientists, but innovation, I think, is really just pushing the no until one day it becomes a yes. And that's that lady from Tesla, same thing. She was talking about the innovation out of Australia is incredible. The stuff
They find a way.
Incredible.
The biggest. It was amazing, but the biggest issue that they're all struggling with the most at the moment. So the biggest thing that stood out for me was just that nothing's impossible, and the other thing was how are they going to get energy into the smallest little compartment, because someone that walks around with a mechanical heart has a really big box, because you need the power. And it said that seemed to be something right across the board, but I think Tesla's coming up with something so that it can be like a tiny little, power pack thing. That seemed to be something that they're all trying to address at the moment.
And you were pretty surprised that Tesla isn't just Tesla.
Well, the big thing that they do is not cars. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, they're phenomenal people. I could listen to them all night.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
So
all right, that's our show, Mark.
Mark's
talk for 27 minutes. Mark's talk for 27 minutes.
Too long. But jump on our social, because we've got some of those videos on there of those guys speaking and innovating, motivating.
We do. All right, that's it, guys. See ya. Bye. Have a great weekend.
Bye.